Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the V8 Masters 2021, brought to you by Marine Industrial Coating and hosted by SRAC. Alongside of me tonight, I've got Cleopas and Neil with me in the commentators booth. Hi guys, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited for today. Tony Rust, V8 Masters. Oh, it's going to be epic. And Neil in the booth as well. Oh my goodness. Awesome day.
Don't worry, guys. I know Tony Roost. It's been built, I think, in 1980. We used to oval track race there. And I'm going to enjoy this with you guys. En Kielpassie, jy moet vas met my pelle dinge gaan roer. Tommy Lee's in die Kaap, Kyalami. Daar's die boys van hom, is die boys. So, ons praat nie van 'n klossie, ons praat van 'n coil. We don't talk about the Phakisa, we talk about the carburetor. And this is going to be tonight. V8 Masters. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always nice to have some company, and it's the first time that we've got Uncle Neil in here. And as you can hear, he's very excited, and I'm excited because we are down for a hell of a show. Just having a look at the track for tonight, like we said, we are racing on Tony Rust all the way in Namibia. It's a very quick track, very long main straight. We've got 5 corners, which can be very tricky, especially in these powerful V8 Mustangs that we are racing with. A little bit of a calendar look as well. So today we are still racing on Tony Rust, and then we've got the next one up is Killarney, the 21st of November, and then the finals will be at Kyalami, the 5th of December.
I just hope we can bring this to you guys. I know Tony Roost, it's a what track? It's just on the northern side of Windhoek, on the way to Downfalloon, the beautiful nature reserve we've got there. There's a couple of corners there. The track is about 2.6 kilometers in length. It's got 5 corners. I think 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. And the main straight is about 1.2 kilometers in strength. Then it goes up and it's got a dip. I don't know all the names of the corners. I've tried to find out. It changed over the years. It's a hardtop corner, which I don't understand because that's the closest part of the Koran. There's the Westbank Dry on the right-hand side. At the bottom, there's a big sweep on the left, and they call it the CCB corner. That is the old City Class and Brake. Chris Liebenberg is a good friend of mine. He was a huge chap. He used to sell cars in Windhoek, but that is Tony Roost. I remember Tony Roost. He was a young guy, and he used to drive a Plymouth. He said a Plymouth of 'n Oldsmobile, maar daai jaar het ons mos nou grondbaanrissies gery al in die rond en nou aan die regterkant on the right-hand side in the corner where the Westbank corner is turn number 1. That used to be the old Helmut Schneller oval track racing. Maar hierdie baan is formidable. It's unbelievable. It's as fast. It's been developed by Art Herbst and Tony Roost, and I think Michael's dad was the guy that ran it, and they got it taught. Maar ek sien swy daarna. Ek onthou so die ou dae terug in die verlede. Ook op Kyalami, waar julle vandaan kom, Tommy, waar jy is met John Love en die Swanepoel, was het Koos Swanepoel gewees, en daai manne, jesie, ons het dan gery met die Cordinis en daai goedes, maar vandag is ons V8, we are today on the V8 track, it's Ford Mustangs, I think it's a 352 Ford engine, prove me wrong, I've got no idea, but it's a huge car, it's got push about 245 kilowatts. Kom ons sien wat gebeur, boys. Okay, go for it. Pedal to the metal, boys. Kom ons doen het.
Well, we've got very nice weather out there today. It is 29 degrees, so it's very nice, hot and sunny. Got a little bit of an overcast, but it should not be affecting any of the racing conditions. So like we said, it's going to be great racing. We can't wait to get everything up and going. Just a big shout out to our main sponsor, Marine Industrial Coatings from Walvis Bay, Namibia. Feel free to give them a shout whenever you need any marine work done, fixing your boat or even getting into something new. I'm pretty sure they will be able to assist you and get you up and going.
Ja, baie dankie. Ek ken Rudy van der Wes is persoonlik baie goed. Hy was saam met my seun op skool gewees in dieselfde klas. Ek ken sy pa Johan Rood ook baie goed. En hulle ran die racetrack hier so die oval track outside of Walvis Bay where we've been last weekend. Great races gehad, lekker oval track gekyk. Johan Rood en sy span Rudy Ek ken hom ook, hy het ook ry op W8 en ook die viersilinders, hy en sy boetie. Maar nou ja, I think we're going to enjoy this race en ek hoop die manne fight vast. Nou boys, terwyl ons met mekaar gesê, what is the tire pressures in die car? Slick tires, medium, soft, medium, hard? Hoe lyk dit? Wat is die pressures? 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bar?
I'm not too sure. It is all up to the driver's preference, which they want to set their tire pressures to and their suspension. But they are running on medium compound slicks. So they've got very nice grip out there, but the tire wear goes down quite quickly. Just a little bit of a look at the times for now. We've got about 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. And guys, the times is close out there.
So close.
Going down from pole to last position at the moment, we've got Volro with a 58.040 seconds around the track. Then we've got Basil with a 58.149. Dani van Rooyen with a 58.245.
Walrus se ou hond, hy ken hierdie baan. Ek dink sy boetie gaan vir hom gas gee, maar as Jandro. En dan kyk jy ook na klein Melvin en klein Basil. Ek het ook Basil 'n pa geken, klein Willie van Rooyen. Hy was 'n formidable Volkswagen Cup race saam met Lico Sipadoka daai jare. Anyways, I think I don't know this. I don't know Donnie well. I don't know where he comes from, but I hope he enjoys it. His setup looks fine. Is it setup? How does this setup work? Do you do it soft on the left hand side, hard on the right hand side? Do you push the left front wheel outside? Do you corner it in? Sit jy die regterkant se wiel voor? Sit die linkerkant se? Hoe werk hierdie karre se setups? Is it a question of suspension changing and weight?
Well, in my personal opinion, again, the setup is open for the drivers to do their own driving setup. So it depends on what the driver's preference is. Does he want the car to be a little bit more loose or more stiff? So they do their own setups. For me, I like a car that is stiff on the ground because you can slide it a little bit if you have to, but you still have your control. Where if the car is too loose on the track, it's very difficult to get that control over the car. So I'd rather have the car handle too well and you can, push the limits a little bit more instead of having the car not being able to stick to the track and you end up just spinning off in every single corner.
For the wheels are clippy. You've been in Namibia for a long time. You've been around. You've been from the north. You know the setup. How do you think this track is going to weather in with this hot weather and hierdie klomp petrol honk malle manne wat hier gaan jaag na?
All I can really say is with these cars on this tight track, that first corner is going to be really, really tough. The drivers are very skilled, but that first corner, that hairpin, someone just needs to hit the gas just a little too early. That back end will come around and you could have chaos. So I hope the drivers take it nice and easy in the beginning, but then elsewhere on the track, like turn 3, where you have to just jump on the brakes just a little bit, get the back to step out just a little. You don't slide it too much, and then you power out through that corner. The guys can do it. I know all the drivers can do it. It's just that when you have guys go 3 wide into a place, yeah, it might be a little hectic.
I understand, 100%. I agree with you. The straight, do you think the kilometers hit at the 257, 258 kilometers per hour, the straight down? There's a 30-meter drop there.
What we're actually seeing is like Voro, who's in pole position, he did a 57.995, and his top speed was 260 kilometers an hour. So these guys are flying down that straight.
Cleo, yep. I see that we are in overtime. Quickly run through the field, going from first up to last position, so we can just update the viewers on who is starting where on the grid for race number 1.
No problem. So we have Oro in pole position right now with the 57.9. Then we have Basil with the 58.1. Danny van Rooyen with the 58.3. Peter Geldenays with 58.3. Jandre Dippenaar with a 58.3 as well. Dennis with a 58.5. Melvin Coast with a 58.5. Andro, with a 58.7. Michael Russ with a 58.7. Andre Basson with a 58.8. Peter Hrobler with a 59.4. Herman Nivot with a 59.7. And Stan Besadenhout, the newbie, who we're rooting for, with a 1 minute 03. So everyone is nearly within a second of one another. Like, it's insane how close this race is going to be.
I think die ouens is lekker opgecharged vanavond. Ik denk die mannen gaan het genieten. En ik hoop hulle harte klop kaster. En hulle gaan, ek weet nie, hoeveel fuel draai die ons? Is daar 'n limit op die fuel? Is there a limit on the fuel? Or is there enough fuel for the race? I don't know.
Well, you know, again, there's no specific limit to how much fuel you need to have in the car, or how much the car has to weigh in the beginning or at the end of the race. So again, that depends on the driver's preference. But most of the cars push the limits on the fuel, so they just put enough fuel in to make them get through the race. Because obviously, as the car becomes a little bit difficult to handle, the car becomes lighter, making it a little bit easier to maintain that control over the car. Where if the car is too heavy, it starts sliding out, and the brake wear is massive on these cars. So going down to the main straight, heading into turn 1, you'll see as the race progresses, the guy starts braking earlier and earlier, or maybe they'll actually adjust the brake bias to get a little bit better braking in the front and a little bit less in the back, just to keep the car a little bit more stable going into the corners instead of getting the backside to step out too much.
Ek onthou dit. Ons het so knop gehad vir ons kar waar jy die remme kon stel van voor tot agter. Maar ek weet ons het ook in ons petrol tank sulke vinne gebou. We put in our petrol tank, we used to put in like this fins with sponges, so that when you drive, that the fuel doesn't float around and screw you around in the corners. Want in the rally cars is baie belangrik geweest. Maar ek hoor wat jy sê, I understand. And I think these cars are so modified and they are so, what do you call it, technology advanced, that elke driver, kyk, jy ry nie 'n kar met 'n stuur nie, jy ry met jou gat. So as jy die stuur sit, dan kyk jy waar die stuur, jy voel mos die vibrasie in jou gat. En dis hoe jy die kar het. That's how we used to always do.
There we go, and the lights are off. Cleo, take us off the line here.
So that was a crazy start just now. Basil looks like he's trying to put some pressure on Voro. Voro's going into turn 1 in front, but Basil's switching in, going on the inside, braking a bit late, pushing him a bit wide. Who gets the power out? Oh, it looks like Voro has it under control. They're pushing through, and as you see, everyone made it through turn 1. Everyone looks good, everyone looks sweet. But here comes turn 3. Tap on the brakes just a little bit. Look at Voro showing us how to drive. Yeah, we are lesser drivers when compared to Voro with that performance off the line right now. And it's very clean, all the drivers. We're really enjoying this. Oh, and just as I said that, Mr. Danny van Rooyen steps out just a little bit, but he has it under control. This is what he loves to drive. He loves driving rear-wheel drive cars. Also, I want to give a shout out to Craig, who's watching on YouTube. He would have been taking part, but load shedding issues. Well, thanks for watching with us, Craig. Caroline Josta as well, and Beamerstein, thanks for watching this with us. And look at Voro make that gap. Wow.
He's that 80 meters ahead. Yeah? That's a good start, man.
Yeah.
Voro definitely had a very good start off the line, as well as a very good first lap. But now the battle to watch at the moment is Basil and Dani van Rooyen, as they are now going up the hill, getting there into turn 2, going side by side. Basil has to get harder on the brakes than usual, trying to maintain that control on the inside line of Dani, driving around the outside of him. And now they've got Pieter Geldenhuys also in the mix there. That's also going to try and have a look on Basil. So Basil really has the pressure at the moment, and he's got to try and keep his focus very, very hard at the moment, as Dani again steps out the backside, going through turn 5 and heading down the main straight, as they're already pushing 200 kilometers an hour, and they barely got down onto the straight. But there was major incident in the background there. I'm not too sure who that was, but you could see
Dennis.
Was it Jandre?
No, it was Dennis. It was Dennis, and I think it might have also been Jandre as well. Like Dennis went off completely.
Actually, I actually think that was Dennis and Melvin Goos that had a bit of contact there. And I really hope it was not Melvin that went rolling down the straight there, because Melvin, as we know, is racing with VR. So rolling a car in VR really feels like rolling a car in real life. And you will tend to want to have to grab a bucket after that one. I'm not too sure what happened there, but that was a big one down there in the background.
Did you see that?
So go ahead, Neil.
That was a barrel roll, man. That was a barrel roll.
What I see on one of my screens here is that Melvin's off on the side of the track, so his race is over. So yeah, he can't actually do anything. He's out of this one.
Yeah, no, Melvin. That was Melvin that went tumbling down the straight there, and actually went over the main or the barrier on the side and ended up there in the field. And like I said, he is racing with VR, so I'm pretty sure that, you know, he had to grab a bucket there for a moment. I do know that I had a little bit of an incident with him in a previous league where he went rolling with, I think that was in the TCRs, and he said that was the worst feeling he ever felt, because you really feel like you're falling around, although you're sitting in a sim rig. So we'll have to see what happens out there later tonight, if he'll be able to rejoin and get into the second race for this evening.
But you must remember, he hit the kameel door een boom, nee. Hulle noem het 'n kameeldrol. That's it, maybe a 3. That's maybe a 3. But that was crazy stuff. I think he just put it a little bit on the right, he lost it to the left, or to the right, and he beats it, that grass, and daar gaan hy.
Yeah, no,
that's the problem with these V8 Masters is that they are a handful. Like, they make you think, oh, everything is fine, everything's under control. You just stab that throttle just a little too much. That back end steps out and it says, I think I'm going to make you a widow now.
So basically what you're saying is it's like riding a real Mustang horse in real life. You know, it's galloping along, you know, nicely, and then you can get it up to a very nice sprint, and then all of a sudden it will just decide, nope, I'm not going any further than it. You know, hits the brakes and it sends you flying, or you're walking very nice and all of a sudden it decides, no, we're getting onto the behind legs, and then we're running and you end up laying on your back, and there the horse goes.
Yeah, giddy up, boys, giddy up. That is the rule. But in any case, it looks fine. I can't see who's in front. Is it Wilro in front at the moment?
Yes, in the lead we've still got Wilro in the front in first position. Then we've got Donnie van Rooyen hard busy fighting there with Basil, who's trying everything that he can to get past Basil there into that, or past Donnie into second position. We've got Peter Geldenhuys who's comfortably sitting in fourth, Michael Rust in fifth, Andre in 6th with Unrup behind him in 7th. Then we've got Jandre who's busy working through the field at the moment in 8th position. We've got Peter Grobler in 9th who just went past Herman who went off of the track in turn 1 and he's busy rejoining the track there in 10th position. We've got Stan in 11th. Dennis is unfortunately retired to the pits. And then we've got Melvin Goos who is standing on the side of the track with the very broken Mustang at the moment.
I wonder what happened. Okay, obviously he barrel rolled it, so maybe he lost it. But that's fine, that's so cool, he can handle it. He's a good guy. Then I think Wilro is teaching his brother Jandro a little bit of a lesson there. En Ken Basil, Ken ook, die klinkt onder, hij reed blij goed. Hij komt ook twee Volkswagen Cup gereden, als ik recht moet doen. Kyalami. Maar hij reed goed, hij zet je kop in elkaar en dan gaan we het doen. Wat is daar van zijn naam? Dennis. Dat is een B.
One thing that I also wanted to let the YouTube viewers also know, if you don't know, Danny van Rooyen loves these rear-wheel drive cars. So that, and you can see him really exerting his authority on it. But how Basil is just chasing him down, keeping him honest, making sure that he understands that as soon as he makes any mistake, Basil's gonna leap on him. And like, look at this now. Basil trying to make him know that, hey, I'm here. I'm still here. Don't be too comfortable. Not just yet.
I like that lights of the Ford Mustang. The 3 lights on each side. Looks great.
Oh,
you never get the car. Come on, that's beautiful.
I think we should all just trade in our cars and go get some.
That's there. Aye, man. I remember when we used to race Overtrack, we never had lights in the back of the car. I was the guy in front, or the guy in the back, which they do when you're on the brakes. That was not allowed. Then later we had to keep the lights on, blah, 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 blah. So dan allemaal jou gesê, hey, jy reis op hofgat man, jy trap briek deur die dryf. But it was not that.
Well, you know, if I have a look at these guys, I mean, I'm on board at the moment with Basil as we are going down the main straight. He's really trying to run that slipstream on Donnie. And if I keep a look on Donnie as he goes through the corner, you know, he gets hard on the brakes going into the corner. And then, you know, he gets off the brakes and about halfway through, every now and then on a corner, he has to, you know, just get a little bit on the brake again just to keep the backside from stepping out under power. So it's actually called left foot braking or brake trail as we also call it, just to keep the control on the car. Otherwise you're gonna start snaking and it's gonna end up in a little bit of problems. And I know that my comment on this is going to get me in so much problems, but I actually received a message from Melvin saying that he said that he actually puked his lungs out at the moment because he went barrel rolling down the main straight of Tony Rust. He clipped the grass and then lost it completely and then made contact with Yandre. And unfortunately, you know, it caused a little bit of problems. But he says he's so dizzy at the moment that he can barely stand up out of his seat.
One thing I also just want the viewers to also understand of how fast these guys are actually driving right now. These guys are putting down qualification time laps, basically, during the race itself. Like, they're all flying at speed. Like, Voro's last lap was a 58.5. Like, that's good enough for qualifications, and he's doing this mid-race. Danny and Basil also 58.5, 58.7, whilst they're fighting each other. Like, this is insane how fast these drivers are.
What is the length of the gear ratio here? The first gear is like 90 kilometers an hour, second gear 138, third gear 170. How do you push these limits of these gearboxes?
Well, at the moment, I can't really see any of those specifications unless I actually go back to the pits, and then we won't be able to focus on the cars. But what we can do do you have it there by you? Okay, quickly give us those specifications.
First gear is 109, second 141, third 175, fourth 210, fifth 245, and then sixth 279.
Boy, that's speed, man. Now that's speed.
Exactly. So clearly Melvin spanned out in sixth gear. That's what we know.
Well, to think of it, if you look at the guys going down the main straight, they're pushing what, 260 kilometers an hour. These cars' top speed is 276. So they are doing 16 kilometers an hour slower than the maximum speed of these cars. It's really, you cannot understand how fast these cars are actually going. And yes, everyone says, but you guys are only doing sim racing. It's only a game. When you sit in the seat where we sit, when we do what we do, it is like driving a real car. It is like having the real deal out on the track.
But did you see that gear? Did you see the gear levers? I think they call it cash boxes, right? You just push the lever and it cash box into the gear. But on the left hand side, it's like a blue, a red gear to the left. Is that a handbrake? And what is the second, the two gears to the left of the car?
Well, if I'm looking inside of the car at the moment with Basil, and yes. I know I'm on Basil a lot at the moment, but it's where the dice is going on. It's where there's a very nice battle at the moment. So they are using the flappy paddles at the moment to actually, you know, get through the gear. So they don't physically have a gear shifter. They've got the little paddles on the side of the car. And you can actually see as he's now going out of turn 1, Donnie running a little bit side, and he corrects the steering wheel a little bit as he's under power coming out of the corner, and you can see how he's just flipping through the gears. And this is the view that we have when we are actually doing the racing, and that is why I say it is like sitting in a real car doing this for real. It feels the same. You get into that mindset of, you know, being in that seat. And especially when it comes to the VR that Melvin is racing with, and I know Yandre is also racing with the VR, you can actually, as you turn your head, you look around in the car, so you can see your feet, you can see your hands, you can see the left of the car, you can see the mirrors, you can turn around, you can even get out of the car if you want and walk around. And that is why when you go into a 160 kilometer an hour barrel roll down the straight, you are going to be a little bit nauseous at the end of that.
Look how fast he changed from 6th gear, 248 kilometers an hour, back to 2nd gear, and then up to 4th and 150. Unbelievable, crazy. Crazy. He's on the left hand side. Now he's going to push him to the left. Yes, he's going to...
Now, unfortunately, going down there into turn 3, where they just went through, if you're on the inside there, you have to pinch that corner so hard that you end up losing a lot of speed. And if you just clip that curb on the inside, you will lose this car's back end out. It is a given. No matter how good you are in driving these cars, you will lose it. And when you do so, it will throw you to the outside of the car or outside of the track. And if there's a drive on the outside of you, you're going to take him out, and you're going to cost both your and the opponent's race. So making your move into that corner is basically impossible. But he's having a look around the outside going into turn 1. Oh, and you can see Donnie just shutting the door on Basil there.
That was a trendy door right there.
Definitely.
You're not coming through.
Oh, that was like a hard bat down there. Just saying, no, I'm keeping my line. You're not getting through here. And again, like I said, there's limited spaces where you can make a move with these cars. And basically, the best place to make your move is going into turn 1. You've got the drive, you've got the slipstream. Now you got to make it stick through the corner. And oh no, we've got a car actually standing on the track there. Yeah, that could have been very bad, but luckily he went back to the pits and just got out of the way there.
Up to you. Let's see how it goes down to the Gypsy Girl War corner. Let's see, that is the Suzuki Katana corner. I remember that Suzuki Katana. Hy het hom massa harde geval op daai.
One thing I noticed is everyone is pretty much so spread out, so they all like running their own race, apart from Basil and Danny. Both those two are saying, no, we're gonna fight this race out all the way till the end.
You know what's interesting for me is when I have a look at the Mustangs, you know, so far in this series that we're doing, was mostly Basil and Donnie that was just running away with these races. And here comes Tony Rust, and Mr. Volro just comes, and he's running almost a 10-second lead over Donnie, who's got another 1 second lead over Basil at the moment. And then there's a 3-second gap between Basil and Peter, who is in 4th position. And then again, another 3 seconds between him and Michael. And, you know, they are so spread out that by the looks of it, unless someone makes a very big mistake somewhere on the track, I don't think that the positions will change at all.
Yeah, because you also have quite a few back markers as well that are mixed in amongst them. So you'll see guys side by side, but that's a back marker. So, yeah.
What I can see is that Melvin has got his car sorted out and got his feet more stable, and he's back out on the track. He's actually flying. He's doing 58 seconds around the track at the moment. So I don't know if he's a little bit, you know, upset or angry or just struggling with the car. And unfortunately, again goes off the track and hits a tire barrier. Luckily, nothing major from the looks of it. He keeps going with the car. So he should be able to just finish this one and then get going for the second race. You can see he's a little bit, you know, shaken up and unstable at the moment with the car and being a little bit banged up from that roll. But it seems like there was no major incident or damage to the car.
Yeah, clearly the water levels in his inner ear are not balanced right now. That cochlea is just dying.
Well,
But hopefully you'll be back in and good to go in the next race.
yeah, no, definitely. We actually missed the end of this race. So just to run down from first position down to last, we've got Voro, Donnie, Basil, Peter, Michael, Andre, Jandre, Arnu, Herman, Peter, Stan, Melvin, and Dennis. So for the start of the next race, we used to have a pole invert, or the top 5 positions inverted, where we've changed it a little bit. So the guys start in the positions where they finished the race 1, they start race 2. So the starting grid will be the same as what the finishing grid is at the moment. So it's going to be a little of a quite interesting one to see whether Voro will actually be able to run away with this one again, or whether Donnie and Basil will be giving him a run for his money with the start of the next race.
And Rudy from Marine Industrial Coating, is he not driving in this V8 races?
No, Rudy is not racing in the V8 Mustangs. He used to race the V8 Mustangs, but again, it's a very tricky car to race, and even for me, I mean I can't race these cars no matter how hard I try. Me and a car that is rear wheel driven just doesn't work out. Even though I have one in real life, I just cannot get them to work on the track. Driving in the road, cruising at 60 kilometers an hour is a lot different to doing 260 kilometers an hour down a straight and going through a corner at like 100 kilometers an hour. So I know Rudy did do the first few races and then he pulled out of it, but again, the sponsorship still stands, and we do thank Rudy from Marine Industrial Coating for all of his support and input that he gives for us.
Shout out to Rudy. Thanks, Rudy.
Kijk, dis ons wel by. Ons staan ons by mekaar. Ons vat die kak van die wêreld nie.
Yeah, you guys are lucky up there in Namibia. I mean, I'm the only one stuck here in Cape Town at the moment in the commentators booth. Otherwise, it's Cleo and you that's both from Namibia.
That's right. Namibia has taken over the stream. Get out of here, Tommy. Neil and I have this under control now. That's how we do.
Bly in die Kaap uit, so ons worry niks nie.
Well, I do get it. But I have to admit that when you guys come to Cape Town, you enjoy it a lot better here.
Well, we used to go to Goodwood, the races at Goodwood, over the showgrounds, met Henry Fontini and Dion de Waal en Koos Swanepoel of daai manne. Ons was daar, ons het gekyk met, ons het gery ook.
Yes, dat oom praat so, ek gaan nou sommer oorgooi hier in die Afrikaans en aangezien ons 'n bietjie Afrikaans praat.
Ja, toe.
Nou dat oom so praat van Goodwood se dae. Ek meen my stiefpa kom uit Goodwood se dae. Hy het daar in Goodwood het hy V8s en midgets, of ek dink hy het midgets daai tyd begin ry. Toe hulle net begin het hy daar in Goodwood het hy midgets gery. En hy's nou nog deel van die sport. So hy ry nog steeds hier in die Weskus en in Woester hier by ons in die Kaap, of hier by ons ry hy nog steeds die midgets. So ek meen dis 'n goeie wat 53 jaar wat Goodwood terug begin het en so, en ek meen ons het so 2-3 jaar terug het ons gehelp met die 50ste anniversary van Goodwood, en Goodwood het toe nou begin om Cape Health drivers te raak wat nou mos nou 'n bietjie Killarney is op die teerbaan. So ek meen oval track in algemeen is al 'n goeie 50-60 jaar aan die gang hier by ons in die Kaap. Ek weet nou nie lekker hoe lank het daar by julle in Namibia aan die gang is, maar ek ben die sport kom aan en dit is groot name wat ons nog steeds vandag hoor en van weet, soos Mannetjies Fontini. Ek het groot geraak met Mannetjies Fontini en sy Zebra V8 wat hy daai tyd gery het. So as mense so begin praat van die ou daar, dan raak my hart weer baie klein en laat ek my dink weer aan 'n kind wees van daai tyd.
Ons het klein plaasie gaan daar by Woester. Met Jack Holloway, my maat, jy wil nie weet nie. En dan toe ek van 'n Merwe wat die slagman was, hy was 'n blokman geweest. Man, ons het hom gemotor. Toe bou ons daai eerste overtrek karre met die dubbele wiele agter wat ons die rims aan mekaar vaswys. Jy sal dit ook onthou.
Nee, ek kan dit ongelukkig nie onthou nie, maar ek sou nog as gelike het om dit te kan sien.
Dit was thanks, my pel, dit was thanks. Moenie maak 'n fout. Ek onthou Killarney daai jare. We praat hier van die laat SRAC begin 70s.
Here we go. 5 seconds in. Lights on.
Come on, kill fast. Get the whip, my pel. There we go, there we go, there we go.
Look at that torch by Danny.
Oh no, there we go. So Donnie had a very good start there. I'm not too sure what happened on the start, whether Voro was sleeping or Donnie just got that light timed perfectly. But Donnie just jumped up there from second into pole position, getting the whole shot as they're now going into turn number 3, or is that turn 2? That's actually turn 2, and Donnie is pushing it very hard, trying to pull a gap away from the guys, but he does not get away from Voro, who is right there behind him on his back bumper, and he's just sniffing that methanol coming from that V8, trying to get into that first position. And Basil is just gonna say, I'm gonna stick to you guys here in third place, and hopefully one of you mess up and then I can capitalize on that one. But Donnie's already got a 0.5 second lead over Voro as they're now going down the main straight and heading into turn 1.
Clearly, Danny lives his life a quarter mile at a time, because that is the drag straight on Tony Rust, and he jumped them so well, and he just ran away right now. Voro's chasing him down. Basil was left in the dust. Like, it's insane how Danny did there. But yeah, moving down the grid, everyone's still bunched up pretty well. There was a little contact here and there. Like, I think, is that Andre that's right at the back? I think he had a bit of an issue, but he's gonna climb back up. That's how Andre does it. Andre knows what he's doing. He's just gonna wait it out and climb back up through the ladder.
I think Jandre might have had a jump start, because I saw him going into the pits and coming out, but he didn't lose a lap at all. He's just a little bit of time behind. So I think that might have been a jump start, and he got the drive-through penalty, and he just had to drive through the pits to get that penalty cleared. As you can see, another driving going into pits, who is Donnie van Rooyen, who seems like he also had a jump start. That is why he pulled away so quickly on the start. He had a jump start there and got away, and unfortunately got penalized for it, and now lost 7 positions, dropping all the way down into 9th place. Sorry, it's 8 positions, and he keeps on dropping. He's all the way going down into 12th position already. Jandre is now a lap down. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think this track might have a little bit of a glitch at the moment, where it's not clearing the drive-through penalties. So the guys are going through the pits trying to clear it, but it's not clearing it. So I hope they don't get disqualified and getting kicked from the race because they're not getting the drive-through penalties cleared. I'm sticking on Donnie to see if he's maybe gonna go into the pits again to try and clear that penalty. We'll see now if he takes that left into the pits again.
Je weet Tommy, ek dink dis net ons kommentaar. Ek dink die ouens se koerasie is hard op hierdie dag.
Well, having a look up at the front a little bit, Melvin Ghost is now having a look up on the inside of Andre as he makes his move, but Andre gets the better drive out of the corner and tries and fights his way back, but unfortunately Melvin is a little bit faster going down the straight there into turn number 2 and gets away from Andre into the front there, taking that 4th position away. Now going to work his way up to the back of Michael and hopefully get to battle for that 3rd position. In the front we still have Voro, who's running away there with a 2.5 second lead over Basil in 2nd place, and then we've got the battles at the back of the field. So it seems like the front end should be nice and comfortable there with Voro and Basil, and the battles to be watched will be here at the back of the field or in the mid-pack, where Peter Grobler is now busy working down, trying to fight his way closer and reel in Andre, who Donnie van Rooyen again goes into the pits. Let's see, he's just driving through the pits there. Yes, you can see he's got a drive-through penalty, but I don't think it is clearing the penalty, and unfortunately it will most probably end up with him being disqualified from the race. I'm not too sure what the steward is going to do about that. I do know the last time something like that actually happened, the drivers got rewarded the points for the position where they ended in the race, and at least still scored some of the points, but could not get top scoring points, which is a little bit sad because, I mean, we saw Donnie in race number 1 fighting it out there for second and third position. So we know he's a fast driver. We know he's one of the top scoring point racers out there. And this is just a little bit sad to see that happening.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate for that to happen. But it happens. That's racing for you. Sometimes you're just not that lucky. What I see is a little bit of a battle that might be quite interesting for us to see between Herman and Dennis. Like Herman and Dennis, they were quite close. They spread out a little bit now. But let's actually see, maybe something can come up from it because Herman is pushing that car really, really hard right now. And knowing Herman right now, he was probably thinking, okay, it's still early, I can still do something, but I also want that position back. Come back here, Dennis, come back. So let's actually see what happens.
You know, I have to say, I'm actually happy to see Dennis back with us. I know he's been out for a while, but I know I raced with Dennis Knutzer last year in the Polo Cup that we did for 2020, as well as with the BTCC. And he's a very fast driver, and he knows how to defend very well. So once you get to him, don't think it's going to be very easy to pass him. He can make that car, any car that he races, as wide as what this track is wide. And there you can see it, Donnie van Rooyen, unfortunately with the DNF as he disconnects from the server due to that drive-through penalty not clearing.
I'm just watching Andro pushing on JJ Dearden, takes him out on the inside, but JJ might get the cutback. Oh, he just blocks it. Close that door. Again, Trelly door. Doing the things for this race every day.
Yeah, and I'm also on board watching, or we've got the camera view that is on JJ Dearden there, as well as with Andrew. Now, I think both of these drivers are new drivers to SRAC. I know JJ is all the way from Oudtshoorn. I'm not too sure where Andrew is from. But these guys are having a very nice battle at the moment for, I think, at 7th position. As JJ now gets a very nice drive out of turn 5. Now running that slipstream there of Andrew. Can he get that drive down the straight and actually over, you know, just that little bit of an outbreak into turn 1 and go into that 7th position?
Ooh, here we go.
There we go. There JJ's having a look up on the inside. He's on the brakes, but he brakes just a little bit too late, and unfortunately allows Andre to go past again there.
That was insane. Like, my heart was in my throat just now. I was like, oh, don't crash, don't crash. Oh, and one thing I just want to give everyone, to bring to everyone's attention, Michael Rust just sitting in P3, getting chased down by Melvin Post right now. But this is going to be a battle between friends. Who's going to actually take it? Can Michael do what he does best, be calm and collected and just run his race? Versus Melvin, who's going to be the aggressor in this one. But Melvin still is maybe a little bubble-less after that roll. So let's actually see how that actually plays out.
Well, also just to, you know, get you guys to think of it in this way, Michael Rust is actually the son of Tony Rust. So he's racing on the track that his dad built. It was back in what did you say, Don?
I think 1980. 1979, 1980.
So that is a very long time ago, eh? And I mean, he grew up with this track. He grew up with his dad building this track, and that is where he has spent most of his life. So he knows this track like the back of his hand.
This is his house.
Yes, his house, you are correct.
And just and just a little bit of a fun fact for the guys that might not know it. I know that we are busy racing Tony Rust anti-clockwise at the moment, where in real life they have actually changed it, that they run the track clockwise due to turn 1 being too dangerous, coming down the main straight, doing 260 plus kilometers an hour, and then you have to brake for that very sharp left-hander, and a lot of drivers has actually gone off and hit that tire barrier that's at the end of the track there. So they changed it and turned the track around to make it a bit of a safer track.
Yes,
yeah, that's so true.
That is
so true.
Because one of the marshals on one of the tires was killed by a vehicle that went on that same corner that cars is going around now. A marshal was killed due to a car turning too fast. Daai onderste draai, daai ek weet nie wat julle meen, was dit die Wesbank draai, daar waar die go-kart is. Johan Steyn, sy naam was Johan Steyn, hy was 'n baie goeie man geweest. Maar dis jare gelede. Maar ja, Tony Roos het die baan gebou. He used to race with a Plymouth, a Pontiac. I think it was a Pontiac in the old days. En ja, Michael was 'n jong mannetjie. Hy was nog 'n babietjie. Basil was nog eers gebore gewees. Hy was nog daar waar sy pa
I want to give a shout out to the viewers on YouTube, Craig or Monet as well. Thanks for being with us. I see that support for Michael Rust and Melvin going. And yes, it's unlucky that Monet wasn't able to also race as well today. But next time you'll show us your skill.
Yeah. But look at his speed. 50, 217, 225, 223, 62, 35, 247. That's unbelievable speed.
Yeah. And then hard on the brakes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no, going through that.
The G-forces they're pulling when that happens.
Going through that semi-hairpin at roughly about 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. I mean, going through this very sweepy left-hander at 110 kilometers an hour while slightly drifting it, and unfortunately you can see Melvin losing it there. He's got quite a bit of a comfortable lead. He had a comfortable lead over the drivers behind him, and unfortunately now losing out a few positions, but rejoining in a safe manner, and unfortunately lost 3 positions there. But I'm pretty sure with the time left for the race, another 3 minutes, that puts it on about another 3 to 4 laps that they've got to go. I'm pretty sure you can at least make up another 1 or 2 laps or positions going down the final stretch of the race. Just a little bit of a look further down the pack here in 9th and 10th position. We've got Dennis Knutzer and JJ that is busy fighting it out there for that 9th position, as JJ is on the defense with Dennis pushing very hard, having a look up on the inside into turn 1. Will he be out braking himself? No, he keeps it nice and tight there into turn 1, and JJ could not get that undercut, and he actually maintained that position. But now JJ's got the better line going around the outside for turn 2, and going side by side here is very dangerous, but he keeps control of the car. He slides it out a bit. Very nice control over the car there from JJ, as he now falls in behind Dennis and will have to wait, unfortunately, until they get through turn 5 and go down the main straight to try and make his move, but making a little bit of a mistake getting onto the power too early, sliding the backside out, and now losing that opportunity to be able to fight for that 9th position with Dennis.
Wow, this is just so intense. Everyone, everywhere, there's always a battle to be watched, to be enjoyed. This is crazy racing that we're getting at Tony Rust today.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm quite amped for next weekend's Polo Cup that is coming up at Killarney, which will be my home ground to be racing on, as well as I hope that Jay will be able to race with us there, because that's also his home track. And then after that, we've got the finals at Kyalami, which is in 3 weeks' time. So it's going to be a very nice one to watch as well. And then we've got these Mustangs going back to their home turf as well to race at Killarney in 2 weeks' time. So it's a nice track coming up next, which is very fast. It's a little bit slower than this one. I think in real life, Killarney is about 5 to 10 seconds slower than Tony Rust, but it still makes for very good and fast racing out there.
Yeah, I remember what is it called? Malmesbury Corner? Malmesbury Drive?
Yes, that is turn 4. Turn 4 is Malmesbury.
Jy het onder die Danlo Bridge gegaan, dan ga jy so links om en dan ga jy regs om en dan kom jy mos daar Tableview se kant toe, dan kom jy mos my lang drive.
Yes.
Ja, that daar het ook altijd gestaan op Killarney. That was my space.
Now, just a little bit of a story as well. I know a few drivers that had some bad judge or bad incidents on Killarney, and I know that my mom is one of them. Who she came down the main straight of Killarney, and at the end of the straight she had absolutely no brakes on the car. She tried to spin it out going into the infield, but the car could not slow down, so she clipped the curb on the inside of the track, went flying over the track, only touched the ground on the other side, and then hit that tire wall in the middle head on with the car. Luckily no major injuries or anything due to my stepfather building very good cars, but the car was a complete write-off. But yeah, it happens, and I do know that there was an incident, I think it's about 3 years ago, where one of the bike racers fell in the main straight, and another racer that was too close to him clipped the bike and unfortunately did not survive the accident. So I know Killarney has taken quite a few lives in the few past or in the years of existing, and they've done everything to make it safer, hence why they also removed the Dunlop bridge and then rebuilt the bridge to be built across the track and not in the track. Yeah, they completely removed the Dunlop bridge that was there.
Look at Melvin. Look at Melvin. Melvin's trying to make a move.
And
He doesn't.
No, he come.
Oh, and he overshoots. Can he keep his car? And now this is going to be a dice down into turn 3. Slight contact between him and Andrew. Going into turn 2, Melvin has got the lead. Now he's got to get on the brakes, keeping the car steady through there. You can see him sliding it a little bit, but he's got it. He actually made that move on Andrew on the final lap of this race. As we come to an end, we've got Voru who finishes in in first place. Basil in second. Michael Rust will finish here in third place. Very nice drive from Michael. He kept it clean, he kept his head, and he finishes there in third. We've got Andre, who is not doing very bad today. He's also finishing in fourth position. And then we've got a dice coming down the back here between Melvin and Andrew. Who's going to take this one? That is Melvin with a photo finish there.
What a drive by Melvin. What a drive.
Did you see that sponsorship on that car of Melvin? Straight tech. That's where it works. I'm going to give you a bit of my mind tomorrow morning.
And now we've got the final two drivers coming down the back straight of this race. We've got Yandre, who is finishing in 11th, and then we've got JJ finishing there in 12th position. Very nice driving from these guys. I think this was a very good, very clean race overall, and the guys did the best they can, as Dennis is now showing us the power of this Mustang and just burning a little bit of rubber there at the end of the race.
Wat is die breedte van so 'n baan? 12 meter? 10 meter? Hoe wyd is die baan?
If I have to guess, I'm not too sure what the specs is of the tracks and things, but if I have to guess, I would say roughly a car is about 1.5 meters in width at the most. So they can fit about 3 in next to each other. Maybe a bit more. So say about 6 to 8 meters in width.
All right, that makes sense. So when you clip the curb on the left-hand side and you need to drift to the right-hand side, you've got, 5.5 meters to go?
Yeah, more or less.
Bliksem, dit maar in moeilikheid soek. Maar ja, dit was lekker geweest. Man, het mooi gery, man. Dit is lekker so.
Yeah, I see the guys finished the race and someone just went out of the chat as well. So we don't even really have anyone that we can pull in to have a little bit of a discussion with us. Except for, I know Melvin is in the chat with us. He is muted, so maybe if he can unmute his mic, then we can have a little bit of a chat to him and hear what actually happened and how it feels to roll a Mustang down the main straight of Tony Rust in VR.
Die VR goede.
Not fun at all.
There we go. Yes, Melvin.
Hey, Tommy. Hey. Cleo. Neil. Yeah.
It's the roly-poly.
Second time, eh?
Second time, yeah. I'm so sorry, dude.
It was It was by mistake. On the inside, there's a small little curb, and I was on the inside of Yandra, and the car started to snake. And I just touched him when I went to the tires, so I actually messed up his race, and then I went flying through the air. So it's going to be interesting to see that replay actually.
Yeah, that will definitely be.
But great fun. Second race was a lot of fun. I was chasing down Michael, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was on my side or on his side, but the car started jumping around, and I had to nurse the car behind him. I couldn't commit to move, and then at one stage I just lost it. And yeah, well, I had to come back and had a hell of a dive with young Andrew. If I'm not mistaken, he's like only 14 years or something. One of the new kids, kart racer, and he's super quick and fun to race with.
Lekker man, lekker.
Well,
Hoe voel je? Is your lijf zeer?
Yeah, it's not.
I have to say, it's the one thing that I do see happening more and more is the young blood coming into sim racing. Like Melvin just mentioned, Andrew is, about 14. And then we've got Mini Ghost, like we call him, but it's Kian, who is Melvin's son. He's also about, 15, 16, Melvin?
He's 16 now.
And we've got more and more young drivers coming into the likes of sim racing. And it's actually very nice to see that, it's something we enjoy. Yes, we've got the more veteran guys, and Melvin and them keeps joking that they want to start a Autopie class.
It's not a joke, it's going to happen.
Because they feel they're a little bit, outdriven by the younger guys. But it's nice to see that there is young guys coming into sim racing.
Ek wonder of Kivas ook kinders het wat reis. Kivas, ry jou kinders.
No, I'm just going to dye my beard gray.
I got you, bro. I got you, bro.
My salary's my pension.
Tommy, just to the question that there was out there, Tony Russ is actually about 8 meters wide, so it's not a very wide track. Which is why you see even on the sim racing a lot of simple incidents, because the guys are used to much wider tracks, and then you get on this narrow track, and it makes a world of difference.
Well, Melvin, I know we're still live on the stream and things, and I'm actually busy sharing my screen on the Discord or the commentator screen. So you guys are more than welcome to watch there. And I'm actually going to put this live on the YouTube channel as we are just watching the onboard footage of Melvin coming through. I'm going to rewind a little bit here as they are coming out of turn 5 and heading down the main straight. And I'm going to run this in slow motion as we now have Melvin on the inside of Yandre. He clips that little bit of a curb on the inside. He catches the gravel. You can see him going loose, and he makes contact with Yandre, and unfortunately loses it, and he hits this tire barrier, which sends him flying, and that is, it is just over and over and over.
Oh my
and you can see the wheels flying off the car. It's going over the back again, and only hits and lands on the ground.
Is it aerobic?
Oh boy.
I have to see this from the outside view as well. Let's just go and see if we can get this actually from the outside view of the drone footage from this race. And again, we're running this in slow-mo. And I'm sorry for doing this, Melvin, but it's interesting to see what happens with these cars when this happens. And it was so quick where you hit the wall. And, that's what sent you flying, was the contact of Dennis. And there we just keep going. It's ridiculous how many times you actually went over and over and then lands on your wheels there.
Can you imagine how it must have felt also for Dennis? Like, Dennis is just driving his race, and then all of a sudden there's a car in his windshield. It's like, what's going on? What's happening?
Well, here we are on Dennis now, and to run it at normal speed for Dennis on his inside view from where he's sitting and racing, this is all you saw. That's, I mean,
Whoa!
that is really something that I don't want to see in real life. Because I can promise you, I will not have a clean underpants.
Well, that's
That
Max
is-
Verstappen. I'm Lewis Hamilton.
Most probably is. That's what we can call this incident. And there Melvin goes. It's
Nou,
he-
ek
he
gee my
just-
helmet. Gee my helmet met Max Verstappen se gesig op.
Well, Melvin, again, sorry for playing that, but that was a hectic accident. I think that was the worst one I've seen in sim racing. And I mean, I've been doing this for about a year and a half already. So,
Cool, man. That's
but this
so
is
cool.
not the first time that you've actually rolled a must or a car. The previous one was between me and you with the TCRs. And I think it was on East London that we had a bit of an incident. And then you also went flying with the car. And
I'm going to change my. I'm going to change.
Don't change it. Look at the picture. And
I'm
look
going
at
to
the
change my
rear-
nickname.
Look at the rear wheel, the left rear wheel mirror. See that car flying on the left hand side?
yeah, you can see actually in Dennis's left-hand mirror on the screen where Melvin is busy wheeling that Mustang.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Wow. That is
Man,
hectic.
man.
Melvin, you almost now like Yanu. Yanu that rolls cars in real life. You're rolling them in sim racing.
Oh, boy. Okay, so I've rolled all three. Next one is the Civic.
We
There we
have to
go.
try and get that one. Yes.
Three-peat. Let's
Okay,
get
okay.
the three-peat.
We're going to
I will
try.
help you do it. Turn three.
Dit was 'n chat geweest. Ek hoop ons maak weer so. Sak is reg.
Yes,
Alright, thanks for
definitely.
watching.
Guys, thank you for
Okay.
joining us tonight. Melvin, you guys, was always fun having you in the chat. Neil, it was nice having you here for the first time. Cleo, always a pleasure having our number
Always
one
pleasure.
keyboard warrior with us in the YouTube channel, in the commentators booth. Everyone out
Thanks
there,
so much.
enjoy the load shedding in South Africa. People in Namibia, enjoy the heat and sandblasting weather. And then we will see you guys next week, Sunday, for the Polo Cup. And the weekend after that, we'll have the Civics again, as well as the V8 Masters.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Ciao. Stay
Good
sharp.
night. Cheers. Bye. Good night. Random good night coming down there from the outside. Always a pleasure having everyone in the YouTube channel, and it's nice to have a little bit of fun and stories from back in the day. So guys, feel free to go to our Facebook page, give it a like, follow us there. Always subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get updates to the next streams and what's going on where. For the guys that is doing sim racing, watching our channel, feel free on our Facebook page. We have the link to our Discord. Go and follow us on the Discord as well. And then you can always join in the racing. We've got our leagues running, and then we've also got always fun lobbies, or beer lobbies as we call it, on Friday nights. So feel free to join in and just have some fun with us. I will see you guys in about 2 weeks' time for the commentating. But otherwise, next weekend I will be out on the track, and hopefully it will be a good one for us out there with the Polo Cup. Have a good night. No, I'm not a roly-poly. I'm not going to roll the polo, Cleo. I'll roll it in the practice server for you, okay, but not on race day. Stay safe, guys. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.